Assalamualaikum, I am Miraj. Today we will learn about selection statements. Selection statements are statements used to select among statements depending on conditions. For example, you can buy chips or not. So let's suppose if you have 20 rupees, you can buy chips, otherwise you can't buy chips. Look at this flow chart. If you have 20 rupees, condition is true, then you can buy chips. If condition is false, then you can't buy chips. Now there are two types of selection statements, if-else statement and switch statement. In if-else we have four categories: if-else, if-else-if and nested if. First of all, we learned about if and if-else statements. The syntax of if is like if we give condition in this parenthesis and then statement. If condition is true, statement executes. And the syntax of if-else is like if we give condition in this parenthesis and then we write the statement we want to execute, and then we write else, and then we can write the statement too. Understand this flow chart. If condition is true, then it executes the statement 1. If condition is false, then it executes the statement 2. So understand this with the help of C++ program. So this is the dev C++ compiler and we can write different C++ programs in it. So according to our situation, I simply ask the user to enter how many rupees do you have in the variable named rupees. Then I write the conditions. If rupees are 20, condition is true, then it displays you can buy chips. And if condition is not true, rupees are not 20, then it moves to else block and executes the statement you can't buy chips. Now we execute it and then see what happens. So I write 20. It displays you can buy chips. As my condition is true, rupees are 20, so it displays you can buy chips. Now we again execute it and then see what happens. I write 12. It displays you can't buy chips. As 12 is equal to 20, condition is false, so it moves to else and displays you can't buy chips. The if statement can run without else block. Like in this program, I write the if condition and then statement, and I have not wrote the else block. Now we execute it and then we can say that if can run without else block. I write 20. As my condition is true, so it displays you can buy chips. Now we again execute it and then see what happens. Now I write 14. It displays nothing. As my condition is false, so it exits from if block and displays nothing. So now we can say that if statement can run without else block. Now there is nested if else. If within if is called nested if. Its syntax is like if condition and then we write another if and then we again give condition and then statement we want to execute, and then I write the else of this outer if and then statement 2. It can have three forms, like if nested inside if part, like this, if nested inside outer if part. And second is if nested inside else part, like we can write this inner if in this else block also. And third is if nested both if part and else part, like this, if I write the inner if in this if block, and then I write else of this outer if, and then I write the inner if in else block. Understand it with the help of flowchart. If condition 1 is true, then it moves to condition 2. If condition 2 is true, then it executes statement 1. If condition 2 is false, then it executes statement 2. Now if condition 1 is false, then it moves to else block, and in else block it checks the condition 3. If condition 3 is true, then it executes the statement 3. If condition 3 is false, then it executes the statement 4. Now we understand it with the help of C++ program. Now this is the program of nested if else, and in this program I first write the condition rupees are greater than is equal to 20. If this condition is true, then it moves to inner if and checks rupees are less than is equal to 50. If this condition is true, then it displays you can buy chips. And if the condition rupees are greater than is equal to 20 is false, then it moves to else block, and in else block it checks rupees are less than 20. If this condition is true, it displays you can't buy chips. We execute it and then see what happens. I write 24. It displays you can buy chips. First it checks this condition, rupees are greater than is equal to 20. This is true, so it moves to inner if, and then checks rupees are less than is equal to 50. This is also true, so it displays you can buy chips. Now we again execute it and then see what happens. Now I write 16. It displays you can't buy chips. First it checks rupees are greater than is equal to 20. It is false. 16 is not greater than is equal to 20. So it directly moves to else block. In else it checks if rupees are less than 20. It is true, so it displays you can't buy chips. Now there is the alternative of nested if, which is called else if. Its syntax is like if we give condition and the statement we want to execute, and then we write else if we write some other condition in this parenthesis, and then we write other statement, and then else if condition statement, and this process so on according to our requirement in the program. So now we understand that we are writing a C++ program. So there is a program of else if, and in this program I first write the condition rupees are 20. If this condition is true, then it displays you can buy chips, and if this condition is false, then it moves to next else if and checks rupees are less than 20. If this condition is true, then it displays you can't buy chips, and if this condition is also false, then it moves to next else if and checks rupees are greater than 50. If this condition is true, then it displays you can buy a tin of Coke. We execute it and then see how it runs. I write 20. It displays you can buy chips as my condition, this condition is true, so it displays you can buy chips. We again execute it and then see what happens. Now I write 13. It displays you can't buy chips. First it checks it. It is false, so it moves to else if. Then it checks rupees less than 20. It is true, so it displays you can't buy chips. Now we again execute it and then see what happens. Now I write 56. So it displays you can buy a tin of Coke. First it checks this, rupees are 20. It is false, so it moves to else if and checks rupees less than 20. It is also false, so it moves to this else if and checks rupees are greater than 50. It is true, so it displays you can buy a tin of Coke. So now we move on switch. Now there is switch statement. The switch statement is used when we have to select one option out of many alternatives. Its syntax is like switch. We have to give expression in this parenthesis. The expression is actually the variable we use in the switch statement, and then we have to write the cases. The cases are the conditions. Then we write statement we want to execute, and then we write the break to exit from switch body. And after all these cases, we have to use the default, and then we can write another statement in this default. Look at this flowchart and understand. The switch first of all checks the expression and moves to that case which is true. For example, if case 2 is true, then it does not execute the case 1. It directly moves to that case which is true and executes the statement in it, that is statement 2. If any of these cases are not true, then it moves to default and executes the statement which is written in default. So now we write the C++ program and understand how switch can run. So there is a program of switch statement. So in this program I write switch. We have to give the expression in this parenthesis. The expression is actually the variable which is rupees in our program. Then I write two cases. I first use the condition 20, and then I write the condition 10, and then statement, and then I use break to exit from switch body, and at the end I use default. If any of these cases are not true, then it executes a statement which is written in default. Now we execute it and then see what happens. I write 20. It displays you can buy chips. The switch first of all checks the expression and moves to that case which is true, as 20 is true, so it displays the statement which is in this you can buy chips. We again execute it and write some other number and then see what happens. Now I write 34. It displays you can buy a tin of Coke. As you can see that these cases are not true, so it moves to default and executes a statement which is written in default, you can buy a tin of Coke. Now there is a difference between switch and if-else. The first point is the expression is tested for equality only, while in if-else the expression can be tested for inequality. The second point is only one value is used to match against all case labels because we have only one expression. In expression we have only one variable which we used in the twist statement, while in if-else multiple expression can be tested for branching. The third point is switch case is not affected when checking for a range value, for example 1 to 100, while if-else is a better option to check ranges. The last point is switch case cannot handle floating point values like decimal values, while if-else can handle floating point values.
Thank you so much for watching my video.